took her out after they cut me open, I actually heard like a splat from all the fluid. I don't know what it was, but it's like when you hear in the movies, it was literally like a splat. It was crazy. I was like, what the heck? I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. This has been so hard. This is the crazy birth story of Mariah and how everything can change in literally a blink of an eye. So whole pregnancy, pretty smooth, went well, had no complaints. First, it started with a glucose test. Everybody who's been pregnant before knows that you have to take the glucose test. I took my glucose test and I failed the first time. Now, with Aubrey, I didn't fail. So I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, what's next? So that was the whole process. Had to take it again. And y'all, we had to be at the doctor for 3 hours for this test, like 3 hours. Ended up passing the second time. So love that. I'm like, okay, God come through. So boom, passed my glucose test. I was like, okay, she's about to come. That was just a scare. Had an ultrasound, y'all, and they were like, it's something white in her heart. We don't know what it is. It's a white, like a little hole in her heart. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Like, why are all these problems occurring? So I had to keep going to ultrasounds. I want to say, I probably went, I think 4 days after that, I went to do an ultrasound so they could look and see what it was. That was the devil testing it. Then here comes God. Oh, there's nothing there. I'm like, okay, thank you. Glucose test, passed it the second time. Hole in the heart, didn't see it the second time. Boom, we're good. She's about to come, right? No. Few days after that, y'all, I was spotting, and I never spotted with Aubrey. Like my pregnancy with Aubrey was so easy, so I was never spotting or anything with her. I'm sitting here panicking. What is going on? Like, is she okay? This and the third. Went to urgent care, the one that was closest to my house. They checked everything. Baby was fine. This and the third. Then I went to my actual doctor. I had an appointment probably like the following week. Went to my actual doctor. And they was like, we don't see any records of you going to urgent care. Now, mind you, so there's like 2 different companies that you can go to. So one is Atrium and one is Novant. I had to go to Novant urgent care even though I have Atrium, because Novant was the closest one. I wasn't going to be like, oh, let me see if I can find. No, Novant was the closest one, so I went to Novant. I've been to Novant before, so they do have some of my records with them. So I was really confused on how they didn't have my records of me going to urgent care before, because then Atrium wasn't able to see what they saw or what they didn't see. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not even going to pay attention to that because it said that the baby was fine. I kid you not, the last 4 weeks, well, I would say last 2 weeks, because I didn't make it all the way to 40 weeks. I made it to 38 weeks. But those last weeks were like, devil did this, God fixed it. Devil did this, God fixed it. It was a roller coaster. It was so crazy. Here I am, like, I'm getting closer to having her. So nothing else can go wrong, right? Baby's head down. It's about that time. Like, I'm probably 37 weeks at this time. So I'm like, okay, I have like 2 or 3 more weeks. Before, I think it was like my last checkup, and for them to see if I was dilated any, y'all, went in there. The baby that was head down, Oriah, that was head down, she wanted to be, I guess, coated up in there for a little bit longer, and she ended up turning, not breech, y'all. So breech is when the feet is first. She wanted to turn sideways, which is traverse. Okay, never heard of this ever in my life. I've always heard of a breech baby or just like a regular baby head down. So I'm sitting here like, okay. She was head down the whole time and she decided to turn, so what do we do? So there was like, oh, she'll turn on her own. She'll turn on her own. I'm like, okay, not paying attention to it. They recommended some videos that I could watch to try to get her to turn. Yeah, I was rolling on the ball and everything. I was trying to get her to turn because I'm like, girl, we 37 weeks. What are we doing? We're not staying in here and cooking any longer because you're cooked. Okay, you're cooked. So I'm doing all this. They were having me come in more frequently because it was like, okay, all this stuff has been going on and now she wants to play games. So let's keep you monitored. So we're in there. She still was not turned, y'all. She was like, I'm not turning back. Y'all gonna have to get me out of here however y'all know how. So after that, like, she wasn't turning, there was like, we do have an option, and it's called, hold on, I wrote it down because y'all, I knew I wasn't gonna remember this part. It is called ECV. Okay, so they was like, we have the option ECV. It's basically where they literally turn the baby. So with their hands, y'all, okay? So they give you an epidural and they will try to actually turn the baby. I'm just like mind blown just thinking about this. So her head was here and her feet was here and her bottom was here. So they were going to actually try to turn her to be head down so I can start pushing and stuff. Either try that or automatically go into a C-section. So I was like, okay, I mean, I guess we can try that, because at the time I wasn't thinking of everything that could happen from them trying to do that. Though I could, y'all might hear Aubrey. I don't know, she sound like elephants up there. Okay, so I didn't know, what could possibly happen from them actually turning it. So I was like, okay, I'll try that. So we ended up scheduling an appointment. So I already knew. I was like, let me do September 20th because Aubrey's birthday is September 6th. And I was like, okay, we got stuff to do. We had a whole birthday party. We had a lot to do. So I was like, do we have September 20th? Y'all, was crossing my fingers because she had to leave the room to call the person who's going to do my possible C-section. She had to call to see if they had that available. So they did have September 20th available, obviously, because that's Ari's birthday. So they had that available. So I was like, okay, boom. So that's when she sent me home with the C-section kit, just in case I decided to go that route or if we had to do an emergency C-section. So it was like a bottle that I had to like rub all over me. I had to take all my piercings out. Now, mind y'all, I had a piercing stuck in my ear. I did not know how to get this earring out, y'all. I was like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen if I don't get the earring out? I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna do surgery on my ear. Y'all, it was a lot of stuff going through my head. So, come September 20th, that morning we packed up, got ready to go to the hospital. I'm always excited for like baby day. I was super excited when Aubrey was coming. So I was like so excited that it was baby day, even though I've never experienced a C-section. So went to the hospital, and since I had it scheduled, I automatically went upstairs to the maternity hall. And I got undressed and everything, just sat there for a little bit. And then I was just literally just waiting, y'all. I was literally just waiting. So after what seemed like forever of sitting there and waiting, a doctor finally came in and she was like, okay, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about the ECV, and how we're going to turn the baby. So I had to do an epidural regardless. So I was like, okay. Once she said that something could burst in my stomach, or that they can possibly push down, because they don't know. They have like a screen that they can see, but they don't know if they're pushing too hard. So once they told me that they could possibly push too hard and something could happen to her skull or something, I was like, wrap it up. C-section. I am not doing it. So y'all, I said it so quick. She left. Was like, okay, we're preparing you. We'll go ahead and prepare you for surgery. So, and I was actually not nervous about the C-section. I was ready. Like I was ready. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I was ready. So after that, they wheeled me back into this room. I thought it was gonna be like this huge operation room. I be watching a lot of TV, y'all. This huge operation room with like windows and the top where people could see and stuff. Yeah, it was this little old room. And when I went in there, I just seen like a big old light flashing in my eyes. I see a cart full of like tools that I know nothing about. I see a whole bunch of doctors and nurses like masked up. I'm like, I can definitely see how this is scary to someone. And while they have like the curtain up, they're sitting there having just like a regular conversation. I'm sitting here like, okay, I guess that's how y'all do it. Y'all used to this. They put this little curtain over me, so obviously so I couldn't see what was going on. All I felt was like a lot of tugging and pulling. I didn't feel like any pain, but it was like a weird feeling. Once they opened to that bottom last layer, I didn't even tell y'all this part. Okay, so I ended up having too much fluid around her too. I didn't even, y'all, I left that part out. So yeah, it was crazy. So after they cut that last layer out, I don't know what they took out, but all I heard was a splat from so much fluid. It was crazy. And they were like, did you hear that? Like, that was a lot of fluid. And I'm like, yeah, is everything okay over there? Is everything okay? So yeah, after that, and then they pulled her out. I heard crying, and then it's normally what I've seen. Sorry, I've seen in the movies. I said, watch a lot of movies. What I've seen is like they put the baby over the curtain, you know, to show you the baby. I've even seen it on like people's YouTube vlogs where people, you know, they just put them over there like, oh, here's your baby, or they'll bring the baby like right beside you immediately, and they didn't do that. So I'm like, okay, like what is going on? What's going on? So like I did hear her cry though, so I knew that she was okay. And then I just saw like 10 nurses go over to the baby bed like with her, and I'm sitting over here like, okay, like what's going on? I heard her cry, so like she good? What's going on? And apparently she was like turning blue, like her whole body was turning blue. And I'm like, okay, I'm sitting here panicking. Like, I can't go over there and grab my baby because I'm sitting here while y'all are sewing me up. 2 people are right here sewing me up, and 10 people are over there trying to figure out what's going on with her. So I do have like a few pictures that was taken. Obviously I didn't take them. I have a few pictures that were taken, and you can see like her getting her color back a little bit. But they said she slowly started to get her color back, as if like, I don't know, like a thermometer changes or something changes. It was like she slowly started getting her color back, and I was like, okay. So that was like a really, really scary moment, just sitting there and not being able to do anything. I didn't cry, but I was like real emotional because I'm like, I don't know how to feel. I never felt this before. So luckily after that scare, everything was good, and they brought her over to me. Y'all, I was like, this is my baby. And I'm gonna show y'all. She was 8 pounds. Okay, she was a chunker. Aubrey was 7 pounds 13 ounces. Araya was 8 pounds. She was a little chunky baby, and she's so small now. But yeah, then after that, they wheeled me back to this room. It was like all red lights. I don't know why, but they wheeled me back into a room. This was before they even put me in my regular room for people to come visit. They put me in the room, and it was just me by myself in this little small room. It was like all red lights. I was just doing skin to skin. They kept me there for a couple hours. I really don't remember what they said as far as like why they kept me there. But I was there for a couple hours, and I kid you not, when people say you forget most of your labor or the process of delivery, it is so true, because I do not remember half of these things. So then we finally went to the actual room, and let's talk about the C-section. Y'all, the C-section recovery, I'm not going to get too deep into it because that's a whole nother story, but my legs were so numb from the medicine, the anesthesia that they gave me before the C-section. My legs were so numb. They always say it's best to lay up, and once they give you those medication, you know, once they give you the medication, it's rolling in, you feeling good, okay? You're feeling good, and you feel like you can do anything. They gave me the medication. I was like, okay, boom, Araya, she's like sleeping. She's good. I'm going to go to sleep. But I lay on my back. So I laid all the way down. I kid you not, y'all. I cannot get up. I could not get up. The hospital button was like too far for me to reach. And at this point, like everybody had went home, so I was by myself. And it was like in the middle of the night, whatever. I was by myself. No nurses was coming in. Now, why y'all not coming in? Y'all come in every 2 seconds. And the second I need y'all, can't call for y'all. Y'all not coming in. So I was laying on the bed. I could not move my legs. So therefore, like I couldn't lean up. I couldn't pull on the bars and like lean up. And Araya was crying, and it was time for me to feed her. So I'm like, what do I do? Like I can't reach her. because I can't get up. I can't pull up on the bars and get up. I can't reach the nurse thing. Like, y'all, I was sitting here so frustrated. I've never been that frustrated in my life. It made me very appreciative of being able to move. So I literally, like, it was a cover or something that I had. I literally had to wrap it onto the hospital side, like the side part of the bed. I put it under there. I wrapped it. I literally had to pull myself up to be able to like reach the button for the bed to sit the bed up. Once I was able to sit the bed up, I was able to pull the sheet so that I could actually get to Araya and grab her out. Y'all, that was like the craziest thing. I'm just here thinking about all this craziness. So even like besides the point of how my legs felt, I ended up going to the doctor for my 6-week checkup, and I personally noticed that I had like a ball in my stomach that I didn't feel with Aubrey. And I'm like, why is there like a ball in my stomach? So when I went to my 6-week checkup, the doctor like felt me and was like, okay, everything feels good. And y'all, I'm like, okay, this is why they call it practicing. They're practicing medicine. Because why you didn't notice this until I told you? I opened my mouth, luckily, because y'all, I'm always scared to, I don't know, use my voice sometimes. So I was like, I feel like a ball or something in my stomach. And she was like, okay, lay back down. And she felt it. She was like, okay, I do feel that. Ma'am, you just examined me 2 seconds ago. You just pressed all on my stomach and you ain't feel it, but now you do. Anywho, she like had me like lay down, and she put her hand like in the middle of my stomach and had me lean up halfway and was like, oh, you have, I'm going to jack this word up, diastasis. I don't know, I'm gonna put it right here, but I'm like, okay, what is that? So basically it's when, this is how she explained it to me. Picture that you have a 6-pack, and this is the lining of your 6-pack. It's basically your muscles separating like that. So instead of my stomach being like this, it's like that, and then I don't know, maybe something coming out in the middle. So I'm like, okay, what do I do from here? I had to end up going to general doctors. I had to do physical therapy, found out that I had a hernia. Y'all, it is so much. Like, I'm trying not to say all of it in one video, but I'm just gonna have to spill the beans. So after all that, I'm still, to this day, y'all, right is one. Till this day, going back and forth with general doctors, OBs on who can do the surgery, because apparently this is a cosmetic problem. Okay, how is something that was caused by pregnancy or giving birth to a child a cosmetic need? Like, I just don't understand. Y'all. So I do have a hernia too, though, but the hernia is right behind my belly button. It is so little. So they're saying that, like, yeah, we can remove the hernia, but we can also try to fix the diastasis recta, but we're not going to do what the cosmetic surgeon would do. We would just put like a mesh in there that could possibly open back up in 5 years, versus the cosmetic doctors basically doing like a tummy tuck. So I'm like, this is so frustrating. If I have a hernia and y'all can fix that, and y'all can fix both while y'all in there, why not do that and insurance just cover it? But that's whatever, y'all. But the surgery to get my diastasis recta, I'm probably still jacking up that, and hernia fixed is up to $28,000. Okay, so that's why if you see me in my content bag, just know it's because I need this hernia gone. Okay, so if you are looking at this, like, share, and comment so I can get that bag up and get this hernia and diastasis recta fixed ASAP. Because y'all, this literally has been, I'm not gonna cry. This has been so hard. Okay, this has been so hard. This journey, okay, so this journey has been so depression. Like, luckily I didn't have postpartum depression after, because I had it really bad with Aubrey. But this hernia and like muscle separation thing has been so frustrating, because I'm like, y'all consider it a cosmetic surgery. Now, it's different if I was like just not happy with my body because of something that didn't happen because of pregnancy or having a child. But it's frustrating because looking at myself in the mirror every day, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's hard. Okay. I don't even think I can talk about it without crying. I'm trying, y'all. But it's so hard to see it. And like, I can see my belly button going in. I feel like I can see the muscle separation. And it's hard because it's like, I can't get this fixed unless I have basically $30,000. And I was like, I can work it out. No, it's not something that you can go to the gym, work out, and fix. I did physical therapy. Didn't see much improvement. I did like 6 months of physical therapy. I didn't see much improvement. Got a physical trainer. Got a personal trainer. I didn't see much change. Like, they already told me, you can work out. You may lose a little bit, but it's not gonna go away unless you have the surgery. And I'm like, I literally have to sit here and save $30,000 on top of living in times where it's inflation. I'm just sitting here thinking it's just so crazy. But okay, I'm not gonna be emotional. I'm gonna have to save that video for another day when I'm not crying and not teary-eyed. I have to save it for when I can be like, let me tell y'all about my diagnosis right there. I just can't do it today. But there's frustrations. There's definitely frustrations. But that is Orion's birth story, my experience before giving birth, during giving birth, and some of the recovery and the aftermath mess. So yeah, I will keep you guys updated on a video for my hernia journey, and I will keep you updated on a video for my C-section recovery story. Bye. Make sure you subscribe.